Is that any better? I'll pull this down to, I don't know, minus 20 dB. Let me know if that's any better, and then I can also crank there. Is that good? Does that sound good? Hopefully. I don't know. Good evening, Andy. Let's see who else is here while we're adjusting levels. We got Scott, we got Badu, we got Garrett, Paul, Sean. Good to see you guys. Keep going on the mic. I don't know that I can go much more on the mic. I can crank. That's maximum gain and maximum. It did, Sean. I just have not had a chance to really play with it yet. This is the maximum that This is the max I can go. I just accidentally muted myself for it. I mean, I guess I could pull the mic a little closer, but this is maximum. Oh wait, I gotta make sure it's on the right mic. Okay, it is. All right, so we're good. Yeah, let me actually grab that for you for a second here and share what Sean was generous enough to send to me. In 1 second here, I have it on my layout over there. Whoa. Okay. So this is not something I'll be using super often for live streams. Although I'll definitely be using it. Closer's good, closer's better. Good. Okay, good to hear. I'll definitely be using this on any sort of live streams that I do on my layout, or any sorts of videos that I do on my layout, or anything like that now. And I'll probably use it moving forward for videos. But Sean was kind enough to send me some new microphones. Well, not new. New to me, microphones. So a couple of really nice lav mics. So, thank you so much for that, Sean. I'm really excited to start playing with these and see what I can do with them. Like I said, I will probably use them not super often on live stream, just because when I'm at my workbench here, I've got my nice mic right here. But definitely if I'm doing live streams on the layout, I'll definitely be using these now, because this will make things a lot easier. I won't have to be tied to a single. I can keep the mic close to me even when I'm walking around doing switching and stuff. And I'll probably start to use it in videos as I try and improve videos as well. Sean is super nice, and I really appreciate it, man. But let's get into the project for tonight, because that's all the mail that I have for this week. Which is kind of nice, so we can jump right in. So last week, for anyone who's new to the streams, I've been slowly, bit by bit, working on this model of the Hopewell Junction Depot in Hopewell Junction, New York. If I can pull up. Oh, I forgot. I didn't set that up. Oh, okay. Let me do that. I'm gonna quickly pull up the images of the prototype building that I'm working on. But it is basically, it was on the it's small town depot that was built originally 1873. There it is on my shirt. I forgot that I was wearing this shirt tonight, as I knew I was going to be working on it. Hopewell Depot was built in 1873 in Hopewell Junction, New York, or what would become Hopewell Junction, New York. It didn't really exist until the town came in. But it was built on, at the time it was the Newburgh Duchess in Connecticut, I believe, was the... No, it was the... There was the Newburgh Duchess of Connecticut, the Poughkeepsie and Eastern, and the New York and New England railroads all came through there. And I don't remember which one built it. But it served all of them eventually, and eventually fell into the banner of the Central New England, which it remained until the CNE was taken over by the New Haven in the 1920s, I want to say. Okay. Nope. Yes. Alright, let me pull this up. So this is the Hopewell Depot. This is how it looks today. It's been beautifully restored by a really awesome group of volunteers that I'm lucky enough to be involved with. Let me get the music out of the way here for y'all. It's been beautifully restored to its, you know, the colors and the way it looked when it was first built, basically, for the most part. But I am modeling it in its appearance in the 1970s. Which would be... Oh, wait, here we go. It was built under the Duchess in Columbia, which then became the ND&C. Then the NY and NE came in. Dutchess County Railroad connected the Poughkeepsie Bridge to Hopewell. We'll scroll through here down to... This is what it looked like when it was abandoned after the bridge burned in 1974 in Poughkeepsie. And this is roughly the appearance I'm modeling it in. Not quite as bad as this because I'm modeling an alternate history where the bridge doesn't burn and the line doesn't get abandoned. But this is roughly what it's going to look like with the red siding. And you know, some simplified doors and stuff. There's some better pictures available somewhere on the website. I wish I had them pulled up, but my I don't seem to have them pulled up right now, unfortunately. My whole computer just completely ate the bed while I was my whole computer basically ate the crap the bed while I was on Paul's stream. So all of my tabs and everything I have to still reopen, and I'm not going to do it until after stream is done, until that screws everything up. So no, I will not be having the car on top of a container outside the building. I don't think I'll quite be doing that, Andy. Let me see if I can just pull up on their website some of those photos. Gallery, yes. Gallery, railroad years. This is where they were. This is roughly what I'm modeling. So, red siding, squared off doors. The doors have been kind of re-rounded now that they've restored things. You know, still having the chimney, which I'm gonna have to. I still have to model that. I have to figure out how I'm gonna model that. I gotta make sure I get the other vent in. But yeah, so this is what we're gonna be. This is what we're working on. And if I turn that back off and turn this back here. You can see we're in a pretty good spot, and we are, you know, I've started painting some of it as I'm trying to finish up the windows. So my goal tonight is to finish the windows, finish the doors. If I finish the doors, I mean make the doors. I haven't started them yet. Let me get the light a little better so you can actually see my face. So that's the goal for tonight's stream over the next couple hours. I've got one more X-Acto left in here, and then I've got 100 X-Acto set over there. So, whoa, flying flying things, flying tweezers. Pick those up because I need those. Okay, there we go. So, what I might try and do though, Andy, is I might try and figure out if I can get a model of the Penn Central work truck that was in that last photo I was showing, because that's a neat piece of equipment. Although actually, it wouldn't be Penn Central; it would be BNCCS at this time. But I might see if I can figure out something for that. But okay. So, the first thing we're going to do tonight is I need to finish painting everything. That way I can make sure we're good to go. And I got, in the past week, I went out and I splurged. I bought some actual nice paints. I bought a basic Liquitex acrylic set, which I know is still not phenomenal paint, but it is much nicer than the craft acrylic paint that I'd been using. Where did the other side of this bay go? That I gotta find that, because if I can't find that, that's a problem. That means I have to remake it, which I would not like to do. I had all the parts done last week, or whatever my last stream was, 2 weeks ago. I don't remember anymore. Where's the other where did the other bay go? Or the other half of the bay? Or third, or whatever it would be. You gotta be kidding me, man. Can't be losing pieces. Is it right here on the ground? Did I accidentally knock it off of my workstation here? Oh man, I gotta find this before I keep going. There's an endorsement. Yeah, Liquitex is like, it's still cheap, which makes it affordable for me. It's not like, you know, the high-end, super nice acrylics or super nice paints, but it's still. It's got a lot better pigment than just, you know, apple barrel or whatever craft paint, which is what I've been using, and honestly, it's been working pretty well for me. But I figured it's time to update my paint stock and actually go to something a little nicer. Alright, well, that's a problem. I can't find the other wall. Did I bury it under trains? It's just not here. Alright, well, I might have to remake that wall then. Which would suck, because then I have to break out my scale ruler again, which I kind of put away already. Unless it's over here. I need to really clean up my desk again. My desk is a bit of a nightmare at the moment. And by a bit of a nightmare, I mean there is stuff literally everywhere. So there's a good chance that this piece is still here, just buried somewhere. I've got decoders here, I've got bottles of glue, I've got weathering supplies, I've got oil, I've got all sorts of crap. I have no idea where this piece went. Yeah, you pass it on to me, Paul. Thanks for that one. All right. Well, I mean, it's not a big deal. it's a relatively easy part for me to make again. It just sucks. I didn't want to really make another part. I was kind of done with. I thought I was done with cutting my scale lumber. Dang it. Alright, well, I guess that makes step one very easy for us. I'm glad that I thought to just, step one being pull all my parts together. Dang it. I'm still looking. I really should just give up and say screw it and make a new part. But I'm still looking. Oh man, now I'm dropping my phone. I really should have spent more time cleaning this desk today, but I was pretty busy today. Well, luckily this piece is the right height. All right, there's the square. Where did I put my scale ruler? Alright, well the square will do. Need my pencil, which is right here. Alright. Let's get to it. So this is 4'6", and the window is 1/6 in. Let's get this project out of the way. I've got part of the problem is I have 17 projects ongoing on this desk at the moment, which, to be fair, I think is pretty common for most of y'all out there. Tell me if I'm crazy. But I don't think it's all that uncommon for us model railroaders to have about 17 projects ongoing at any given moment. That, and I just need to make sure that it's at 13 even. Alright, let's cut that. Okay. 17. Tack on another dozen. Yeah, that sounds about right. Four locos stripped. Your unfamiliar scale, Jeep 9. Jeep 9 is only on the is the only one that's on the workbench. Gotcha. No, yeah, I have depot. I have to finish sealing this per diem boxcar. I have to finish sealing this 50-foot PS1, and then both of those need to get sent away to the guy who's weathering them for me, because I want to start to get different people using different weathering effects on my models, to make sure it's not just all the same styles of things that I do. I have the Jeep 7, which is decaled and needs to get sealed so I can weather it. Which, actually, I didn't show on stream, I don't think. This is the BNCCS's Jeep 7. There were 4 of them, and this was the first EMD product on the railroad. And I'm very happy with how the scheme came out. I want to thank Miles of Interurban Era for recommending that I continue the orange and blue across, but I also want to thank Paul for recommending I keep the faces of the cab Balfour Maroon, because I think that looks really sleek. So I'm very happy with this. I just need to, like I said, seal it, then weather it. I have a GP9 here that needs to have its paint adjusted. I gotta bring this this line way up. I'm gonna leave the maroon cab on this one because it's a later locomotive purchase. So it's gonna be inspired by the Jeep 7s, but with some of the more modern touches. So that needs to get the paint adjusted, then decaled, then weathered, then sealed, then weathered. What else is here? That's just what's immediately here. I've got 1, 2, 3 locomotive frames that don't have shells on them because they're in various states of painting, and so on and so on and so on. I've got another incentive per diem boxcar here that still needs its decals. I haven't decaled it yet. So I've got 2 decoders over here sitting waiting to put in, and that's just what's in my immediate reach. So yeah, let's see. What do I seal it with, Scott? I use Testors products. So for what I do is when I'm decaling, I put on a coat of Testors gloss coat, and I do 50% gloss coat, 50% thinner. Then I do the decals. Then I do another of the same mixture of gloss coat and thinner. Then I do, I think it's 2 parts Testors dull coat to 1 part thinner. No. Yes, 2 parts dull coat, 1 part thinner. Actually no, it's 1 part dull coat, 2 parts thinner, I think. No, I don't remember. I do some combination therein of Testors dull coat and thinner, and I use it all in my airbrush. I mix it up, and then I put it in my airbrush cup and shoot in my airbrush. And that's what I use to prep, decal, and then the 2 layers seal it. The gloss coat kind of builds up around the decals, so that way they all look flat against the surface, and then the dull coat kills the sheen of the gloss coat. So as you can see, this is still very shiny from the gloss coat. It hasn't received its dull coat yet. So anyways, back to this project. Crimson Mud, yeah. Love the Torp tubes. Yeah, I'm super happy that I have that's the Jeep 9s are gonna be ex New York Central Torp tube models. They're gonna be four of those, I believe, purchased off of Conrail in, I want to say 1979. No, the Jeeps were in 1983, I believe. Alcos were in 79 after the Alco purge off Conrail, I believe. If I'm remembering my lore correctly, which I may or may not be, but it's roughly that. I know it's ex New York Central, ex Penn Central, ex Conrail units. Okay, so we got that. Now I need the other angle, so this side is going down. Yeah, of course, Scott. Glad to help. Sorry if my numbers were confusing. Oh, you guys gotta yell at me if I ever do that again. I've been working off camera here a little bit. Go. Alright, and now the hard part. I'm going to switch to a fresh blade that has a nice sharp point for this. So this will go in there for now. I'll put in my sharp spin once I'm done. One of the nice things about being a diabetic modeler is that I have a sharp spin for all my needles, and all my dull X-Actos just can go right in there. That way I don't have to worry about getting them disposed of in any way. Okay. I need to sharpen this pencil. That'll do. Where did I just put my ruler? There it is. So I need it to be 1'6". Wait a minute. Oh no. Well, restart. I cut the new piece to 3'6" and not 4'6". Yell? What? I don't know what you're referring to there, Paul. All right, where did I put that other? There it is. I hope this is wide, long enough, wide enough, whatever enough. It is. Okay, good. I said to yell? Oh, yell at me. Oh, yes. Thank you. Here, let's do that. That way, even when I do pull it towards me. There, see? Now you can still see what I'm doing. Okay, beautiful. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for yelling. 4'6" is there. 4'6" is there. Okay. I wish I could show you guys the way I have this camera set up. This thing is super janky. Actually, you know what? I probably could with my face cam if I adjust it the right way. Let me finish getting this cut first. Alright. I'm going to grab the camera, so I'm going to try and be very slow and steady with these movements. This is how I have the camera set up. So I've got my tripod hanging down off of my upper shelf and the pegboard, with the camera like hanging down and angled forward so y'all can see the workbench. And I have to be very careful to not do something like that where it just pops the whole thing. All right, let's make sure now. Okay, yes, that is the right width. Good. This one's correct. Yeah, it's time. It's time that I start slow. It's time that I start speaking English. It's time that I start upgrading my setup. It's been, more than half a year that I've been regularly streaming now, so it's time that I start really thinking about investing in some better equipment. Pencil. 11 feet right there. What really needs to happen, Paul, is I need to invest in a better camera. Because this one is fine, but it doesn't have... It's still just a basic webcam. I'd like it to be a little better. And I'm thinking I might invest in a new real camera, because my real digital camera that I use to shoot video and photos and everything, that is more than 10 years old probably at this point. So I think it's time for me to upgrade that as well, and I'm thinking I can probably kill two birds with one stone and get a nice new camera that I can also hook up to my computer as a webcam. There we go. Now we are nice and even on both sides. Perfect. All right. B&H is standing by. Ooh, fancy pull. All right, let's put that line there. That line there. And now I need to pull those lines across the wall. So there's my heights. Oh boy, not buffering limbo. I'm running the risk of turning into a Heath type character. I hate to tell you this. Andy, but I think I might already be there. Inches, 36 inches. Yeah, I hope your internet allows you to join in, Adam. If not, don't worry about it. You'll be missed, but I'll be sure to catch you up with any real deal progress on this in the Discord after stream is done. But I do hope that you can hop in tonight. It's always good to have you in chatting. It's a warning parable. Okay, there's that. Now I just need to round off top. And now I need to get in here and actually cut this window out. And this is the hard part here. While I'm working here, let me tell you guys some of the things that I'm planning here, because I'm actually planning a pretty major change. So the layout that I currently have, I have decided is just too darn frustrating for me. So what I am doing is ripping it up. However, I'm not ripping it up like most people because I have to be special. I'm tearing out all the track. I'm cutting into the foam. I am going to put in some sub-road bed, probably some either 1/4 inch ply or homosote or something that gives better support to the track. Then I'm relaying the track pretty much exactly as it is with some minor adjustments just to make things a little nicer. So the layout's not changing. The layout, like the track work, the industries, staying the same. The Bound for Industrial will remain. However, the track will be actually dead flat, so hopefully it means that it runs not like a piece of garbage. So I'm basically planning surgery on my layout. I want to leave as much of the scenery intact as I possibly can. And just extract the trackage, extract the foam under the trackage, and replace it with something sturdier that I can make sure gives me some nice flat track. Alright, I'm hearing you out, Paul. Built the same thing but in HL. You see, I don't have space for that. I barely have space for this. This, because this is 1 foot by 6 foot net scale. In HO scale, that means that this would be 1 foot or 2 feet deep by 12 feet long. My whole room isn't even 12 feet long, I don't think. So I don't think that would rebrand as HO scale terrain guy. What I am doing, though, what I am planning on doing, Paul, which will be to your liking, I think, some of those slight adjustments that I was talking about are going to be to turn my layout into hopefully something that is FreeMoN compatible. Basically, what that would involve is on the one end of the layout, making sure the trackage aligns to the center. That way it's, to FreeMoN standards as far as the end plate goes. On the other side, that would involve adding a 2 foot extension that on the end becomes FreeMo compatible. And that 2 foot extension is very important because that also means that I get to 8 square feet, which those of you in the NMRA will know is the requirement for the Golden Spike Award. So this kills many birds with one stone. And that's the plan. So that's going to be an ongoing project here, starting pretty soon. I haven't had. This is priority number 1 right now, because the goal is to have this done in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2.5 weeks. So I can bring it with me to the NER convention up in New Hampshire, which is the northeast region of the NMRA's annual convention, which is happening up in New Hampshire this year. And the goal is to make this, or bring this and get it judged and hopefully get merit from it. That way I'm one step closer to my MMR. So this is priority number 1 right now. I'm planning a bunch of things in the background for once this is done. Once this is done, then I'm going to go in and try and finish this. I would love to get this, I would love to at least get the B unit, which is also over here somewhere. There it is. I would love to at least get the Alco FB here done in time to bring it next weekend to the NMRA, or not the NMRA, the New Haven Railroad Techno and Historical Association convention, which is in New London, Connecticut, in next weekend. Not this upcoming weekend, but the one following. That would be great. I'm also not pushing that, though, because I already have a custom painted and decaled and N-scale New Haven model that I'm bringing. So I'm not incredibly worried about that. But it would be fun because I remember when I was starting the decaling, the president of the Inertia NHRHTA, Mr. Chris Adams, was in the chat here with us. So I was hoping that I'd be able to get those done, but then I realized, oh shoot, I actually need to get this done much more, in a much bigger way, because that would be fun. This is something for actual judging, so that's kind of the order of priorities right now. But once this is done, then I've got the the Alco units, the FA, the FB. Once those are done, or maybe as those are happening, I still need to decal this car. I need to, all those projects that I was working on earlier, talking about earlier, getting these sealed up and sent off, getting the Jeeps done, and starting this project here, which is of particular excitement to Paul. Let me just make sure to not dox myself. I am collecting detail parts so that I can improve and repaint and actually make this SD40-2 accurate and good in N scale. So that's going to be my first super detailing project, Paul. I know you're talking about your first super detailing project as your Jeep that you're working on. You were working on just before. This is going to be my moment of jumping in as well. So I've pretty much definitively landed on the paint scheme that I'm going to use for the SD40-2s, which is shared in all the Discords, my Discord, Paul's Discord, so on and so forth, which I think Paul should allow you. Woohoo! Paul, I think the paint scheme that I settled on should allow you to have some fun things to have bleeding through, including the logo, the numbers, etc. Do I have to wear a cape? Maybe I'll have to wear a cape, Andy. Maybe I'll wear a front cape, aka a little like jeweler or a nailer's apron, like I do while operating, and then I'll take my detail parts out of my front cape. Also, what am I? Pressure is on, no pressure. Oh, Paul's saying the pressure is on. Andy's saying no pressure. Easy peasy. New London, where churches spontaneously fall down. Yep. Okay, so there's... Now we actually have all the pieces. So we're where we should have been half an hour ago. Let's get this car out of the way. I don't know where this car could have possibly come from. It's a strange car. Some, weirdo upstate sent it to me. Alright, let's go ahead and get the paint down now. If I can finish painting everything. Oh, that might have been too much, but actually. Yeah, let me actually scoop some of that back in. Well, I got a little bit of it back in. Oh well. Alright, there's that. And then we just put a little bit of black on the side over here. I gotta remember that this stuff should not need nearly as much paint on the palette as the cheap stuff. Add a little water to one of these wells as my cleaning well. There we go. Thanks for posting the Discord, Paul, for anyone who's not already in there. We've got a pretty nice little community going in there. People sharing what they're working on, people sharing tips, videos, having fun, hanging out, talking about trains. So, if you're not already in there and you're an avid user of Discord, check it out. I make sure to post actual high detail, high res photos of what I've been working on stream in there after every stream. Whenever I'm actually working on anything, that is. Oh, be quiet, phone. Stop yelling at me. Oh, this brush is not in a good place. I actually need to put this aside and clean that properly later with some alcohol. Alright, where's a good brush that I could use for this? That one will do. Yeah, see, I've already added too much black. This is what I was worried about. Damn it. Well, that's a waste. I need just the tiniest touch of black. That is a nice color, though. This too. Kind of wipe all this off to the side. That's a waste of paint. Great. Let's get just the tiniest bit of black on my brush and blend that in. That's looking more like what I wanted. Let me just paint it on something that's not super important so I can be sure. Something like this, scrap. Yeah, that's close enough. I might go over everything I've done already with this, though. Alright, let's get this all painted. So, because once it's painted, I can then move on to getting all the windows in and then designing and cutting the doors. Yippee! There we go. I know that the actual building would have had some, paint worn off, but I want to get it fully covered first, and then I want to be able to scrape away paint selectively for the weathering. I don't want to leave unpainted spots, which is why I'm trying to get a nice, consistent, even coat. So I know what's on some of y'all's workbenches who was over in Paul's stream, but what are the ongoing projects for some of the rest of y'all? What you folks been up to? Working on the LEDs on the bus, right. Right. That bus is cool. For anyone who doesn't know, Adam is building what, as far to my eye, what appears to be a standard run-of-the-mill school bus, which was converted into a rail vehicle and used to ferry maintenance away workers out to their work locations. And you can correct me if I'm wrong on that, Adam, but that's what it looks like to me, which is pretty sick. The local program issue had the... Oh, man. That stinks. I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that your decoder crapped itself. Could drive down to ESU to see if you can fix it or replace it. Maybe. I don't know. That stinks. Had some fun with static grass. Nice, Andy. Static grass is very fun. Okay, see, this worries me. I'm hearing, and I don't know if you folks are hearing it on stream, but I'm hearing the boot-oop of USB devices disconnecting, and I am vaguely concerned about that. But until it becomes an issue, we're going to pretend it's not an issue. $30. Oh, okay. If it's all right, that's not too bad. If it's just a $30 load pilot. But still, it stinks to have it, you know, just give out on you. Never fun to have that happen. But at least it's not, you know, one of the $100 Loc Sound units. At some point, when I have time, I'll get into doing some ESU installs with some Loc Sound. Andy, glad to have you here, my friend. Good to hear from you. Hope you have a great night, man. Get some rest. I'll see you around. Who knows? Maybe this week I'll actually be existent in Heath's chat, and maybe I'll see you there. The past few Wednesdays have been busy for me, so I haven't really had the opportunity to participate in the chat for Heath. Alright, well that's done, although of course now it's, you know, curling up a little bit because of the water content of the paint. I'm hoping that I'll be able to straighten that back out. Actually, let me grab my clamps here. This is why I really should have painted all this before assembly, because then I could have painted it and held it under something nice and sturdy. You know, just put it down on something flat, or with something heavy and flat over it, but oh well. Last one Iron Planet had, waiting for them to get more in stock. Otherwise, you'll have to go somewhere else. Yeah, it's nice to have like one shop you go to, but you know, sometimes you need to shop around, unfortunately. After stream, I need to shut down my computer fully the correct way, not have it give out, restart it, and see if this disconnecting thing is still happening. I don't know if you folks can hear that, but I'm literally just hearing USB devices disconnect, reconnect, disconnect, reconnect, and I don't know why. I don't know what USB device it is, because it doesn't seem to be my mic, doesn't seem to be either of my webcams. I don't know, maybe it's like... What else is plugged in there? What else is plugged in here? My cooling fans, I guess, for my laptop. Yeah, the cooling pad that I have it sitting on. Could be that. That doesn't have the greatest USB USB plug. All I know is that it's frustrating me. We're going into buffering. Oh no. Yikes. Yeah, I'm sorry your internet is giving out on you tonight, Adam. This stinks. So my plan, I don't think I'm going to be able to get this to 100% for the NER convention. I will say that. I'm going to try and get this to like 95%. The things that are going to be missing are things like trim around the doors and the windows. That's something I'm going to need to get designed based on the actual dimensions of what I've cut. And probably laser cut. For the doors, I might actually be able to do it by hand. But for the windows, because of the arched window heads, I just don't think, unless I do it in styrene, which I might try and do one in styrene. If I can get it done in styrene, then I might just do them all in styrene and just get it done. Which is fine, because they're supposed to be flat stock anyway. Well, in the theory, they're actually... They're paneled. But... I'm not... That's not a detail you can really pick up in N-scale. So I'm not incredibly worried about it. But yeah, so I'm going to try and get this as close as I can to completion for the NER convention. I'm going to try and get the roof done. I had Sean, Mr. Klondike himself, was looking at 3D printing the brackets for me. And Sean, if you need any payment or anything for that, just let me know. I'd be more than happy to pay you for it. I'm using your material and your expertise, man. So, and if you need me to do the resizing on them, bring them down to N scale, make sure that they're the size that I need, I can do that. Because I think the ones that the picture you sent me were a bit overscale. Or at least they looked so. So I don't know if it was something in the model that I sent you scaled weird, or I'm not sure, but I can double check things for you if you need. But so that'll be the brackets for the roof. I'm hoping to be able to get all the walls and the doors, or the walls, windows, doors all assembled tonight. There's the last wall painted red. Nice. Very nice, Paul. I'm excited to I guess I'll probably be amongst the guinea pigs for that new redesign for you when I go up there, which is pretty fun. I imagine you'll do some testing before ops around the clock just to make sure things are all good, but that'll be fun. Remind you to work on the windows for the house kit. Nice. Glad to be of assistance then. Glad I could remind you. We'll let that dry out, so hopefully it'll bend back into shape. Or I can bend it back into shape in any case. Let me see what Paul's got cooking here. That looks pretty good. Yeah, of course, Paul. But it'll still be fun. I'm still looking for. I'm very much looking forward. For anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, at the end of October, the Lakeshores Division of the Northeast Region NMRA does their annual Ops Weekend, which is the Ops Around the Clock. Oh wow, I really nailed that color match. Jeez, that's beautiful. Oh wait, no, this is the ones that I already had that I painted tonight. These, I can't tell the difference, so that's probably good enough. But so I'll be heading up there at the end of October, getting it up there, getting to run Paul's layout as well as a couple others, which will be very fun. I always love some operating, and I'm hoping tomorrow to get out the last ops video from Island Ops 2025. I got the second to last one out last week, which was, of course, the really awesome, absolutely humongous Allegheny and Western of the West Island Model Railroad Club. Where did I put that? There's the exacto. But this last video, if you can believe it or not, is actually an even larger model railroad than the West Island Club's layout. And that's mostly due to the fact that it's outside. Need some SRCA logos for your Starlink cars, or even for Starlink decals you want to put together for online sale. Paul, get on that. You're the SRCA man. Okay, how many windows do I need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12. Okay. I'm going to get them all cut out, all painted. All assembled, and then I'll start inserting them into the building. Issues from the view and test. Yep. Nice. Very nice. Yeah, the SRCA is such a cool concept. It's definitely dragging me kicking and screaming into a more modern era for some modeling. I think most of my SRCA stuff will be HL, just because it, you know, putting all the bags, putting everything together, just it allows me to do some more different modeling, which is always fun. But I think my end goal is going to be for HO SRCA stuff. It's going to be to have a couple of locomotives and like, I don't know, a 10-car train is kind of the goal for me. Of 2005, you know, mid 2000s era stuff, you know, conspicuity stripes. Paul, you're gonna beam with joy when I say this, but ditch lights, the whole nine, rubber scattering. That's me. I gotta talk to my brother to make sure he is okay with me taking his Jeep 9M and using it for my own projects, which I have a feeling he will, because he is not really a model railroader. He only got it when we were a kid, so that way things could be, you know, he had a train and I had a train, but I don't think it's run in the past decade and a half, so I don't think he'll have a problem with me yoinking it. So that'll be one piece of equipment, and then I'll have the C424 that Paul sent me, which the shell is actually sitting right here. And I need to get some, I need to, you know, slowly start looking for a chassis for that to ride on, and developing a paint scheme for it, because I also want to, it'll probably just be, it'll be developing a paint scheme for all my centuries, because I'm going to have a C424, a couple of C425s, and then a few C430s as well. And that'll be my collection of power. As far as modern, as far as Alco centuries go. I'll also have RS11s, RS36, RS32s is I think what I settled on, not 36s. Things that'll provide me some interesting modeling potentials. But so basically my HO excursions are going to be to further develop the story. That's kind of the question, Paul. I'm thinking things will be largely the same, but I definitely want to iterate on it. I want to come up with some interesting concepts, maybe some minimalizing, maybe even, I don't know. This is just off the dome. I have not put any thought into this. But I did really enjoy my switcher scheme, which is just the maroon and orange. I definitely want to keep the blue in there somewhere. So I don't think I would go fully to this. This is pretty much the default scheme that I've come up with for all the yard switchers are going to have this. The early Alco switchers are going to be black, and then eventually they'll be painted into this scheme before they get retired. But I figured it's nice because high visibility with all the orange, and the maroon is a lot easier to clean than the blue. Or a lot less necessary to clean than the blue, really. But something with more maroon might be in the future for the BNCCS. I'm not sure yet. But that's an idea that I might toy with. But that's all. Basically, the neat thing of if I can get the GP9M. Yeah, exactly, Paul. If I can get the GP9M, what might be fun is to have it be the same road number as this one, which is 730. And have it be the modification, because the idea is basically the Jeep 7s and the Jeep 9, the Jeep 7s were purchased in 54, the Jeep 9s purchased in 83. By 85, the Jeep 7s are in shop for rebuilds, including chop noses, basically upgrades to GP8s. The GP9s, I think, will not become GP10s, they'll become GP9Ms. And they'll unfortunately lose their torp tubes, but they'll get the chop nose treatment, and I think that the idea would be for that Jeep 9M to be 730 in the future. And by the future, I mean the mid-2000s. It's weird talking alternate history because the future is still the past. It's just less the past. All right. Where are my reverse action tweezers? Where did those go? Hey, Ray, welcome to the party, my friend. It's good to see you, man. I'm trying my best to get all the walls of this depot model done here tonight, and that means, you know, getting all my paint stuff done, getting all the windows installed, and then hopefully cutting the doors as well, and getting those all installed. So the goal tonight, which I don't know how realistic it's going to be, we're definitely going to get the windows all in. I don't know about the doors. But the goal tonight, at the end of the day, will be to have the full thing ready to glue together. You know, it won't be together yet, because I do want to wait to do final assembly till I have the base designed and built. That way I can barely lock it all together. But that's the goal for tonight. I don't know where my reverse action tweezers went. I don't want to use my forceps because those will be, I think, too strong. Well, there they are. There's the reverse action tweezers. Went to Charles Rowan, Boston. You're changing over to G scale. We're all changing scales. We're all changing scales. Paul's hinting at some weird end scale thing. I don't know what that could be about. You know, people will have to wait till September 5th to definitively hear about that. But some weirdness going on there. I'm talking about doing HO scale. Ray's talking about jumping to G scale. So, same thing with the C424. Yeah, that's exactly. I don't know if I probably will do the C424 and N scale eventually. What I might do though, I may have the 424 not have been repainted into the modern paint scheme in the 05 era. Just be heavily weathered. Because I think that would be fun, having the modern scheme on the Jeep 9 and the older scheme on the Century. I think that would make for a neat consist. Anyways, let's paint some windows. But definitely, Paul, if the C424, even if I leave it in the 80s era scheme, it will be the same unit, and I'll have what I might even do is, if I do make the N scale one, have it be double patched. So patched from, I think you said it was D&H, so patched from D&H into GWT, and then on top of the GWT patches, a second layer of patches for the B and CCS. Because if I'm not mistaken, you were saying you don't think that the 424 or the RS11, which you're sending to me, would have made it into the Erie Green. So double patch on one of the units might be cool. I don't know about both. One of the units might have been repainted. I'm not sure yet. These are all future decisions. I rubber scale, you rubber scale, he, she rubber scales. It's simple, SpongeBob. No, it's kindergarten, SpongeBob. That's what it is. I think. I don't know. Yeah, that's what I thought, Paul. Wouldn't have made it to the GWT scheme. So I'm thinking one of those units will be fresh from the paint shops, B and CCS colors, and the other one won't have made it into the paint shop for my modeling purposes. Is I think what I'm gonna do, and I just haven't decided which is which yet. But I think that the Jeep 9M would definitely be, Jeep 9M would absolutely be in the more modern scheme, because I'm thinking that modern scheme would have come around sometime in the 90s. And if 85, the Jeep 7s are being shopped, by the early 90s, the Jeep 9s are being shopped, because they would have gotten shopped, maybe by the mid 90s the Jeep 9s would have been shopped, because they would have gotten shopped when they came onto the roster in 83 off of Conrail, just to have the shops inspect them and ensure everything is in good working order, and to get painted. But then they wouldn't have needed to be shopped again, at least not majorly overhauled, for a good little while. It would have been in fine mechanical order. So I'm thinking delay that until the 90s. And then they would absolutely be in the new scheme. GWT couldn't handle the smoke, yeah. No honorary steam locomotives for you. O&G are amazing visual scales. Absolutely they are, Ray. I was actually just reviewing footage from the last op session I went to at Island Ops, which was Steve Gittleman's G-Scale, Chichester, and Sweet Hollow. I'm trying to get that video out at some point in the next couple of days. Hopefully tomorrow. Maybe not till Wednesday, but I'm hoping I can get it out by tomorrow night. And that's an outdoor layout, so a lot of the scenery and stuff is not, modeling quality. It's just actual trees and stuff. but the weathering and stuff that was done on models is phenomenal, and just the size of everything, and it looks amazing. And same with I've not been to personally any two. Oh, yes, I have been to two railroad scale layout. I've been to the Kingston Model Railroad Club. That is phenomenal. It's if they're ever open and you find yourself in the Kingston, New York area, I 100% you recommend going and looking at it. It is in an old New York Central paint shed, basically, alongside the right-of-way in Kingston, New York. Just outside of the Kingston Yard. And it is a work of art. It's been a work in progress, that layout, since the 30s. And just the amount of detail you can get into an O-gauge layout is phenomenal. Yes, hauling stone up the hill, Paul. That layout is awesome for that. He tricked me into doing his yard work. True. You scratch build cars for your MMR stuff, you might do them in O just to have a display model. That's fair. Yeah, that's very fair. I've thought about what scratch building I'm gonna do. I want to do most of my scratch building in N scale, because then I can actually use the models. Like I've talked about in the past on my stream, one of my goals this summer, which is one of the goals that was not accomplished because the summer is coming to a close, folks, unfortunately. Don't mean to burst your bubble for anyone out there who's still enjoying their summer vibes, but we are less than 1 week away from September. No, we are exactly 1 week away from September. Next Monday is Labor Day. So, yeah. Summer's wrapping up. But one of the goals for the summer was supposed to be to start scratch building a GE Class Y switcher, which is the New Haven Railroad's DEY-2 yard switchers. Using the frame of an Alco RS1 with some pieces chopped out of it as the structure, and then putting it on. I think I landed on it. It's gonna wind up riding on a what was it? An SW. I think I settled on. It was gonna ride on the SW9/1200 frame. I have to remind myself. But it's gonna ride on some other N-scale switcher frame that was with it. Oh no, it's gonna be an S2 frame. The frame of an S2, if I can find one. It's gonna that's the plan for that. But that'll be, because the New Haven owned, I want to say 10 of those. No, not that many. But they owned a number of those. And they actually wound up going to the Bangor and Aroostook Railroad for use in tight switching for potato operations. Still under restrictions from your surgery, so no fun for you. I'm sorry to hear that, Adam. Hope you're recovering well, though. And you sound, from what you've been sharing over this course of the summer, it seems like you've had plenty of fun already this summer, so. I love how I went to get my, went to look for these, and now I'm just using my hands. I just can't be bothered. Just headaches and chewing issues since it was next to your right. Yeah. Sleeping on the wrong side too. Well, still. Alright. 3 more windows to paint. And then I gotta find the driest one and start with that one by putting the glazing in. 2 more train shows to do. Colorado RPM and the Holiday RMTS. Colorado RPM is one that I wish I could get out to this year, but it's just not happening. even if it wasn't this, well, I don't know, if it wasn't the same weekend as the Northeast Region Convention, there might be a chance. But September and October are already just so booked for me that I just don't think it would be possible, even if it was like a week or 2 off of the convention. I'm already spending so much money on hotels this fall that a cross-country flight on top of it, unfortunately, is just unrealistic. But I hope you enjoy. And now that you can hear it, I hope that all of your clinics and everything that you go to sound great. Oh no! Shoot! No! Get out of the water! Dang! All right, well, quick, paint it. Glamping in Michelle's camper. Nice. Denver's a cheaper seat flight out of Rochester thanks to Frontier. So you eventually get out there. Nice. Yeah, I might. I just need to. A big part of the problem is the point in my life I'm at right now is just so unstable inherently that I just can't commit to a lot of things. It took a lot for me to commit to going to the NER convention, and that's only a few hour drive away. But I'm never sure where I'm gonna be in life right now, in the next 2 months. Because I'm applying to jobs all over. I applied to a job in Washington D.C. today. Who knows if I'll get it or not? I don't. So it's just hard for me right now to commit to trips or anything. But there's probably flights out of places like Westchester County Airport or Stewart or whatever that will get me easy access to Colorado. Gotta give me a job in Boston. That's the goal. That's one of the goals anyway, Paul. I'm hoping for moving out towards Boston, because that's the long-term goal for me and my girlfriend is to move to Boston. That's a city we both really like the feel of and the look of and everything. But it's just so freaking expensive. The other hard part for us right now, because we're both pretty much entry level in architecture, there are a lot of architecture schools already in Boston, so a lot of the entry level work goes to Boston students, as it honestly should. But then it's just hard for people like me who want to move to Boston to do that. So it's just like, whatever. You'll be down in your neck of the woods. Yeah, Scott, down in the Delmarva Peninsula area. Hey, you know what? If I do wind up coming down that way, I'll have to reach out and Maybe I'll help you on your layout, and you can help me on mine. Sounds like your wacky hotel life. Yeah. Yeah, you're bouncing all over the place this fall too, huh? You're bouncing much further than I am, Ray. And my bouncing is basically I'm going. So this upcoming weekend, myself and some friends are gonna be spending a day out near Cooperstown, New York. We're gonna ride on the Cooperstown to Charlotte Valley Railroad. That's just going to be a day trip out to Cooperstown. Then we're going to stay, my girlfriend and I are going to stay with the friends who are about a third of the way between home for us and Cooperstown. So it's not nearly as bad of a drive. Although Cooperstown's not a terrible drive. It's a few hours. But it's just long enough that it's like, I'd prefer not to have to do it twice in a day. So, going out there and then staying with friends this upcoming weekend. Then I'll be going out to the New Haven Railroad Technical and Historical Association Convention in New London, Connecticut the following weekend. Then I'll be going to New Hampshire, Concord, New Hampshire the following weekend for the NER convention. Hopefully with this model in tow. Fingers crossed. Then I'll have a couple of weeks off of traveling too much. Although one of the weekends we're planning, my girlfriend and my friends and I are all planning on going to the New York Renaissance Fair. So that'll be fun. But more travel. Then first weekend in October, I'll probably be heading back upstate. I'll definitely be heading back upstate. I'll be hopefully staying with the same friends again. Going just because they're about 45 or so minutes south of Albany. I'll be hopefully staying with them and bouncing into the capital region back and forth for the Oktoberfest Ops weekend. It's the first weekend in October in the greater Albany area. Then another few weeks off, and then up to Paul in Rochester for Ops Around the Clock. And that one I'll definitely need to figure out some sort of accommodations for me. So probably another hotel, unfortunately. Ray, I'll be at the New Haven Railroad Technical Historical Association convention in New London. The NHRHTA's convention's happening there. Convention, train show, so on and so on. Meetup, etc. We're going to be at the Holiday Inn in New London. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be fun. Meeting up with my New Haven people. Hope you can meet Brandon. Let's see. From Ray will be Milwaukee, Baltimore, and Denver. Oh man, that's quite the it's quite the itinerary, Paul or Ray. And Paul, hope I can meet Brandon where? I'm not sure whereabouts I'll be meeting Brandon. But I still hope it'll happen. 30 minutes from the house. Awesome. If you weren't in the process of dismantling at Cooperstown, of course. Yes. Yeah, I think I'll definitely be meeting up with Brandon. I completely forgot that I was talking about going to Cooperstown. Yeah, hopefully he'll be around this weekend. I've let him know that I'm coming and I'm doing table ride. I've talked back and forth with him about being up there already. Just a matter of figuring things out. But Ray, if I didn't know you were already working on dismantling your layout, I'd say I'd come over and take a look at it, but I know that's already a foregone conclusion, so I won't bother you and your family. There's 3 windows assembled. 10:30. Yeah, I can definitely get the windows in, and I can hopefully make at least 1 door tonight. And then I think we'll be good. If I can get all the windows assembled and a door assembled and in place, I think I'll be in a good spot. I can finish the rest of the doors this week. I haven't decided for sure yet if I am streaming on Labor Day. I'm not certain. I probably will be, but I'm just not sure yet. Sounds good, Scott. Thanks for tuning in. Always great to have you. Get some good rest, and see you around. Looking forward to seeing your progress on the engine facility continue. Maybe I'm getting tired, Paul. You'll be what? You'll be happy? You'll be... I'm not sure. Figure out how you're going to get the HO car out of New Zealand. Yeah, that's going to be quite the logistical puzzle. Figuring out how to get it out of Oceania. I think I'm actually still on the list of for the HO car as well for my club layouts. Well, club layout at this point. One of the layouts unfortunately has been taken down. But eventually I'll get it, I'm sure. Whenever you can figure out how to get it right side up again. Hope to have a video up in a week or so showing the shop. Awesome. Looking forward to that, Scott. Really looking forward to it. Oh, you will be streaming on Labor Day, of course. Too many things happening in my brain and in the chat for me to keep up. Got it, Paul. My brain is like, all right, Windows, all right, travel, Cooperstown, Scott's shop, streaming, ATLP 2022, bouncing around like it's made of rubber. Or flubber even. Bouncing around. My brain's bouncing around like it's flubber. Oh, be quiet. Stop yelling at me. Oh boy, Paul, what's in your Discord? I'm almost worried to ask. Is it more track planning? New Zealand and Australia have both halted shipments to the US. Yeah, that. Yeah, the shipments to the US have become such a nightmare, and it's so frustrating to see what's. I try to keep politics out of what I say, but it's just frustrating to see what's happening to the US in international eyes. So, you know, that's all I'll say on that, and that I hope it gets resolved soon so we can resume our international relationships to the best of what they were. Anyways, what happens in Discord stays in Discord. Alright, I won't. If you want to know more, join Paul's Discord. That's all I'll say. Also join my Discord, but that's something else. That's has nothing to do with what Paul's doing. That's just a fact that my Discord is linked down in the description below for anyone who's interested in it. And what on earth keeps connecting and disconnecting on my freaking computer? Exactly. Right. Hopefully we can at least get the logistical chains up and running again, if nothing else. You know. Just get things resolved. So that'll be that. And that's where I'll leave what I'm willing to say on things that can get into political statements. So about getting the software right. Okay, well that's good. That's something that can be resolved. So that sounds good. I swear, if this USB device connects and disconnects one more time, I'm going to... I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to be very upset. See if anyone flying in can bring it. Yeah, that might be the best bet at this point until they can get things resolved. But hopefully, and then, exactly, you got it right. And that's all I have to say about that. Maybe, yeah, maybe, Ray. Maybe you'll have to bring Paul a bonus paycheck of some extra stickers. I don't know if Paul actually has one of my stickers. That. Shut up! Stop yelling at me! Darn, insulin? Or, insulin? No. Diabetes? Insulin is what I don't have. Paul's in Canada right now. Oh. Interesting. cool. Hope he's enjoying his time up there. You need it back for mid-September. Yeah, that's. I wish you luck, because that's gonna be really. He's on the ambassador tour. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, and this makes the last peel, the last window peel that I need to make tonight. Which means this is the last window glazing I need to put on tonight. Oh my lord. Here we go. We have assembled all of our windows. Now we need to install all of our windows. What's the best way to do that? Probably using... Let me put a little thing of waiting for an email back from Klondike's. Hey, Sean, I think you're in the chat tonight. So, Sean, if you can shoot Ray back a response email. He would appreciate that. At least Sean was in the chat tonight. I don't know, he may have dropped off and I missed it, but I don't know. All right. So I've got my dot of glue. Who would ever do N scale? Who would ever do N scale? Hey, there you are, Sean. Okay, so what is, well, first step is that I gotta fix this. Bend this back into shape. Next step is getting... Alright, I'm gonna start with these windows. I'm gonna start with the bay windows because the assembled bay is gonna be some of the hardest to do. Alright. How am I gonna do this? What's the best way for me to do this? I'm up on screen on the music cutting modules. Nice. Nice. That does sound like a good night. All right, let's see if I can get this window in and centered. It looks like there is going to be plenty of space, which is good. Now the hard part is going to be centered. Waiting for 2 more modules to hit the website so you can buy them too. Nice. Very nice. That looks pretty good. One for Ray and you. What would you possibly do? What would you two possibly be doing with the T-Track module? Okay, there's that. Probably right, probably right. I don't know, what would you possibly be doing with that? September 5th, folks, there'll be some really, really awesome, fun news coming out. My channel, Paul's channel, maybe a couple others shortly thereafter. Keep an eye out next Friday for a video coming out announcing a pretty awesome project. We've been hinting at it for a while now, and it's finally time. Sent pictures of the new back EMF test track. Ooh. Let me get this window put in before the glue dries, and then let me pull up the picture on my phone. See what you're working with. Oh man. There it is. Check that out. That looks really good. I'm super happy with that. I'm super happy with that. Well, there's 3 windows down. Only like 11 to go or 12 to go. Zucchini bread you made. You baked 2 loaves of zucchini bread, 1 loaf of white bread. That sounds delicious. That sounds delicious, Adam. I love zucchini bread. It's so good. Let's see. Ray are not sent to... Ooh. Very nice. Nice and long, so you can get that long run you need for back EMF. That's awesome. Good stuff. Good stuff, Ray. All right, let's get the windows into the other bay. I think I'm actually going to glue this instead of the window. And then just clean it out with the other end of the Q-tip. Alright, so definitely no doors are going to happen tonight. But all the windows are going to get put in because it's now 10:58. I'm not going to stop until I put in all the windows, but then once all the windows are in, that'll be the end of stream tonight. I'll post pictures of doors as I make them. I'll share that on my Discord and stuff. I know I just said I was going to do the actual walls and not the window frames, and yet here I am doing the window frames because I can't be stopped. I'm a menace. Dennis the Menace, one might even say. I cracked myself up. Okay. And the other part of the bay window, which I'm going back to doing on the actual window, the actual wall instead of the window frame, because I can't be stopped. What are you guys going to do about it? What's good in the world of N-scale locomotives? As far as stuff I'm doing, or in general? In general, okay. I understand your question now. Are you asking, like, what locomotive? I'm assuming you're asking what locomotives are good in the world of N-scale. I took a second, and I think I understood your question better. If that is your question, which I'm assuming it is, Atlas is really good. Atlas has really good quality. Slightly, I wouldn't say slightly less reliable, but very, very, very slightly less good at running than Kato. Kato is slightly lower detail, but they run like a Swiss watch. Those things will run forever. You can get, I mean, actually none of the ones that I have on my desk here are Kato drive, but you can get like early 90s Atlas locomotives with a Kato drive, and they run like, you know, fresh out of it could be new old stock, never opened, and it'll still run beautifully. More detail. Scale Trains has a lot of detail. I actually have my Scale Trains SD40-2 sitting right here on my desk. Really good detail. They run pretty well, but you have to have some pretty good track work. At least on the SD40-2, it does have some issues on less than quality track work. But it does look phenomenal, especially for N-scale. It's got just about every detail you'd want on even an HO locomotive. Not quite as good as the HO as far as details go, but still really good. And those are the big three. Atlas is if you want sound, Atlas Goldline is going to be your best bet, I think. Comes with an ESU decoder. Is fairly cheap, usually $180 a locomotive with sound. Kato locomotives, no DCC, are gonna be around $80, which is pretty darn good. It kind of comes down to what models you want, because different manufacturers have made different models. I don't have any Fox Valley model locomotives, so I don't know about their quality. I've heard that they're decent, but I've also heard people have had problems with them, so I don't know about Fox Valley. I don't have any Rapidos, at least not yet. I'm hoping at some point to get at least one Rapido FL9, but I don't know when that'll be, if ever. I'm hoping at some point it'll happen, but I don't know when it'll be. And that's kind of that's kind of what I know, though. Atlas is kind of like the standard. Atlas, Silverline, Goldline models are what are going to be the kind of the bread and butter of N-scale. Katos are going to be slightly less detailed, but they're going to run phenomenally. They're going to run really fast, though. So when you do if you do put a decoder in them, then you have to make sure you pull the speed down. And then Scale Trains, incredible detail. Definitely, you're gonna, depending on the locomotive, you're gonna want to watch for any tracking issues. Although, if you're on Unitrack, none of these tracking issues really should be a problem. So, that's my 2 cents. You think the Rapido newer stuff has improved, but the old stuff was hit or miss. That's kind of what I've heard, but again, I don't have anything, so I don't have any opinions. The other one is Bachmann. Bachmann is fine. It's not the Bachmann of old where it'll run like a piece of crap. It's fine. It'll run fine. It'll look okay. It'll sound okay if you get a sound decoder. The Atlas 60Es, like I said, Atlas is great, runs great, looks great. Sounds like a good place to start to me. I don't have any. Well, I do have an Atlas SD60 frame. It's an older Run 60 frame. It's not a 60E, but I think the chassis and all that is the same. True. But I do have one of those because I have, just for fun, back when I was in school, I decided, you know what? I kind of want, this is before I decided that BNCCS was definitively going to be a 4-axle road and so on and so forth. I was like, you know what? I kind of want to, just for fun, make, where is it? It's up here somewhere. Let me just stand up and get it. Oh, there it is. Just for fun, I wanted to make a BNCCS SD50F. So I do have a Kato SD60 frame because the 50 and 60 frames for the model are the same, or were the same at the time. I think it's based on the 60, and the 50, which I think is actually supposed to be slightly shorter, is not accurate. But you can see this is the 1998 run. So, yeah, I just was like, you know what would be fun? Because I've always liked Draper Tapers. I've always just thought they were cool. So I was like, what the hell? Why not? I kind of do want to go back in and redo some of this stuff, because this would just be a fun little model to have, like, sitting around somewhere in, like, the background of some scene. Just like, what the heck is that? But you can see I never went and did any of the lighting. I never even put in any of the windows. I kind of got to a point where, you know, the basics were done, and then I said, that's good enough for now, for me. This is a Caslo Shops resin cast kit. But, yeah, I just thought this would be fun. So I did it. I'm thinking I might wind up selling it on at some point. But I might just leave it as a fun little display model. That was my first, like, real kit build of any rolling stock, which is kind of crazy. Oh boy. Yeah, let's not blow any breakers, Sean. Let's avoid that if possible, so we don't have to restart all the equipment again. Oh man. Yikes. Oh boy. Right. So these windows are actually going to be the hardest to get right, because the windows are 3 feet, and the window models that I'm using are 3 feet. These are rail scale, I believe. These are rail scale models windows that I'm using here. I also have their shingles, which I'm going to use on the roof. I think it's rail scale. Is this the... No. Oh, yes, this is. Yeah. Rail scale models. These are 4x4 double hungs. 2.6 by... Oh, so these are 2.6 windows, not 3L windows, right. 2.6 by 7.3. So, They're not really what is supposed to be going. I mean, well, the 4/4 is correct for these windows. The windows on the actual building are 4/4s. 4/4 double hung windows. It's just a little strange because these are rectangular windows and I'm putting them in rounded sills, but that is actually what's going on in the oh, excuse me. What decoder goes in Atlas. Assuming you are talking about ESU, I believe it's the micro. I think it's the micro. There are lots of, like I said earlier, I've yet to go into any sound installs, any ESU installs. If you're not worried about sound, there's some great drop-in decoders for a lot of stuff. Atlas Silverline is just a drop-in. Atlas Silverline, I think, has an 8-pin hookup in there. So I think you get a micro decoder that has an 8-pin, and you just plug it in. But I think it's Lock Sound Micro, or ESU. Lock Pilot or Lock Sound Micro. Directs, yeah. Gotta be sound. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. Kind of what I figured was going to be the case, right? But, yeah, so that you're going to want either an 8-pin micro, or they do have some directs. Oh, it's not an 8-pin? Oh, you're right. It's the 18 pins now. You're right. Thank you for the correction, Paul. It's 18 pin, 18 pins now. Why did I think that just the 8 was from the 18. But yeah, they have 18 pin plugs in there now, which make for much better decoder functionality. Next 18s, yes, thank you. I couldn't remember. I knew it was like an NMRA standard whatever title thing, but I couldn't remember what it was. And next 18 is exactly what it is. So yeah, if you get, and I think all the Lock 5s have, or at least all the Lock 5 Micro and Nanos, I think, either have Next 18s or there's Next 18 adapters available for them. But this is me just working off of the little bit of research that I've done so far. This is the area of N-Scale where I'm actually not super familiar yet, which is sound installs. I've yet to do one, actually. That's another one of the items that was hopefully going to be on the to-do list this summer that just kept getting pushed back and back and back. But eventually I want to get a Loc Sound decoder in one of my old Atlas Jeep 9s that is painted for the New Haven, and then I want to get the detail parts correct for it. That way it can have the Hancock air whistle that the New Haven Jeeps had. Because that's fun. I love it when you can kind of make it accurate with those little details like that. Things like having the Hancock air whistle. Who's gonna do the at this rate, Paul? It's probably you. I don't know, man. I don't know. With the backlog of projects I've got right now, you might just beat me to it. Or hey, maybe I'll send you the locomotive and you'll do the install for me. Who knows? This with the windows in, this is looking really cool. I'm really excited. Now that it's all painted and the windows are coming in, I am super excited about how this model is coming out. And I'm very excited to get some of the finishing details and everything onto it. See how it's how insane it goes. Yep. That sounds about right. I just want to round out this window a little better. Before getting the window firmly installed. There we go. That looks better. And one more window, and then I'll try and I think I'll try and assemble the other bay. Well, what time is it? 11:15. Yeah, I think actually I won't try and assemble the bay on stream. I think I'll get this window in and wrap it up for the night. 'Cause I gotta get my lunch pulled together for work tomorrow. Make sure I've got everything ready to go. Yeah, that's gonna be quite the project, Ray. I'm excited to see what comes of that. Six feet at N scale, you'll learn. That's quite a bit of industry that you can fit in that. I mean, in my 6 feet, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 industries. But all my industries are also only single spot. Well, two of them are to have 2 car spots. But they're not nearly the complex industry that I know you're kind of looking to model, so. But, yeah, it just gives you an idea of how much you can fit in such a small space in N scale. Oh boy. Oh boy, here comes Paul with his crazy ideas. Alright, you know what? Maybe I will try. You know what? No, I won't try. Will I? Won't I? I don't know. I think I won't. I won't try and assemble on stream tonight, but here is our results of the evening. Those those. And these. Let's feed. I know that's something you've taken a lot of photos of, Ray, so I'm just saying, you got a lot of reference material already there. Alright. That makes me happy. That makes me very happy to have all this done. All the windows in. I think this week my goal is going to be to get this bay assembled, get all the windows done, and next week on stream, in theory, the walls will be assembled and we can hopefully just get the roof done. And Lord willing, we'll be done in time. You went with a bigger facility than that. But yeah, I'm hoping that my stretch goal for this project was basically to have it done in time to bring it with me to the NHRHTA convention, because this was a New Haven station for about 10 years. It was a CNE station for much longer than that, but it was straight New Haven for the last 10 years or so of passenger service on at the station. And in my timeline, passenger service, does continue on much less over time, and then it's, slowly comes back. But yeah, this was a New Haven station, so my goal was going to be to try and have it with me at the New Haven convention. So that's kind of my hope, and if I can get that, that'd be great. If not, then I'll know exactly what I will need to do still in order to get it done in time for the NER convention. The things that I have left to do are basically, well, in theory, I should be putting on window trim, but I'm thinking that's going to be the one piece that gets dropped. But what I need to do is get the roof on. I need to get the brackets in. I need to get the nameplate on the side of the station, Hopewell Junction. I need to, so that's probably just going to be something I print out on printer paper and Mod Podge in. I might try and do that on, I might try and see if there's anything else that I want to do like that, and get like an 8.5 by 11 sheet pulled together and get that done at work with the high DPI printer. I don't know. Is there anything else I need to do? Well, I want to put some curtains in the windows, and I want to paint the inside like a dark brown. Eventually, what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to not permanently affix the roof. When I finish the model, I'm going to semi-permanently affix it, just with some glue, just some white glue that I can easily work off with some water. And I'll probably just do a couple of dots of white glue around. Then I want to eventually go in and do a full interior, because I want to do the ticket offices. The ticket office would be here. The station agent's office would be here. There'd be a couple of benches. There'd be a stove. Stuff like that. I want to model. So, but that's down the road. That's not my goal for today. My goal for today is just to get, or not today, but my goal for the NER convention is to get the structure itself built, get it to a fully modeled, quote unquote, state. That way, I could be happy, and hopefully get some good pointers on what to improve. Honestly, what I might do, once this is done, is I might get this all 3D designed and laser cut the wood. That way things are a little cleaner. But that's neither here nor there because I'm not worried about that right now. In any case, if you folks in chat are done discussing Let's Feed, which sounds like it seems like it would be a great industry for the backside of some modules. That'd be awesome. But in any case, with that said and done, I'm very happy with my progress for tonight. This is fully painted. It's red. The walls are basically done. I just got to stick the doors in them and glue it all together. And I'll hopefully have that done by next week. So I'm gonna call it mission accomplished. I'm gonna call it walls are done, quote unquote done. Wait, wrong end scaler. So thank you guys all for tuning in tonight. I hope you all have enjoyed. I hope I entertained you all tonight. Thanks for tuning in. And I'll see you guys all on the next track.